Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's bobsled time. Cool running.
Hello there. Welcome to another episode of the Rookie's Guide to Sports. A country with sunshine, beaches, palm trees, and no snow shows up at the Winter Olympics in one of the fastest, most dangerous sports on ice. It sounds like the plot of a movie, and it actually is. But it is also real life. Today, we will talk about bobsleigh, also known as bobsled in North America. Most people know this all-time classic winter sport for high-performance athletes through the 1993 Disney film Cool Runnings, which tells a fictionalized, comedic version of the first Jamaican bobsleigh team. But how does the sport actually work? Stick around, and I'll break it all down for you. Bobsleigh is a timed race where teams of 2 or 4 people blast down a narrow ice tunnel in a gravity-powered sled. The goal is simple: get from the top to the bottom in the fastest time possible. When wins are decided by hundredths of a second, even a tiny wobble can be the difference between a medal and coming in last. Though you might see some variances like the luge, where athletes they lie on their backs feet first full speed down the track, or the skeleton, where they head down face first on a tiny tray at tremendous speeds in a way that closely resembles a last ride to hell. Bobsleigh is different. It is the one where the team sits inside a protected cabin, also at fast speed with minimal control. This is the track where all the action takes place. It is a concrete channel coated in thick ice, usually between 1.2 and 1.6 kilometers long. Watching it on a screen, you will see steep, banked turns that look like a frozen roller coaster. You will notice the start area at the top where the team begins their sprint, and the finish line at the bottom where the clock stops. There are no lanes or complex markings. It is just the sled against the clock. The sport is played in teams of 2 or 4, or even in some cases in an individual format. The ride flow starts with the push. This is the most critical part of the race. The athletes sprint as fast as they can while driving the sled forward for about 50 meters before jumping inside. Once they are in, the pilot steers using 2 handles connected to the front runners, while the others stay tucked in as low as possible to reduce wind resistance. Quick timeout from the ice. If you are enjoying learning about the world of sports in a way that actually makes sense, make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. The Rookie's Guide to Sports is all about taking the complex stuff and making it simple so you can enjoy the game like a pro. Now, let's get back to the track. While the rules are straightforward, the consequences are high. If a sled flips over, the run is disqualified. But beyond the rules and the ice, there is a heart to this sport that the movie Cool Runnings captured perfectly. This movie is one of the most inspirational underdog stories in the world of sports. Cool Runnings is a feel-good sports comedy about a group of Jamaican men who, despite having no winter sports background, decide to chase an impossible dream: qualifying for the Winter Olympics in bobsleigh. Led by a disgraced former bobsleigh coach, they struggle through awkward training, culture shock, and ridicule from more established teams, but slowly become a real unit. It's a story about the human spirit and the audacity to dream where you don't belong. In 1908, the real Jamaican team arrived in Calgary with borrowed equipment and zero experience on ice to try to participate in the Winter Olympics. They weren't just racing against the clock, they were racing against everyone who said it was impossible. Throughout the movie, we see them slowly earn the respect of the top athletes and the public. They went from being a joke to being the favorites, the team that everyone roots for, because they showed that heart matters more than a fancy uniform. When they crashed in their final heat, the dream could have ended in silence. Instead, they stood up, found their strength, and walked that sled toward the finish line. They didn't need a gold medal to become legends. They just needed to finish what they started. It reminds us that in sports, as in life, the greatest victory isn't always standing on a podium, but having the guts to show up and give everything you have. Even the most elite teams, the ones who had been on the ice their whole lives, couldn't help but respect the team that refused to quit. A fun fact about that legendary 1988 run is that the crowd's reaction was so loud, it was actually picked up by the microphones on the other side of the mountain. People weren't just cheering for a team, They were cheering for the idea that anyone from anywhere can reach for the stars. And the team responded with one of the most dignified moments in the history of the Winter Olympics. Next time you watch some rides, try looking at the start. If a team is even a fraction of a second slow getting into the sled, they have almost no chance of winning. But as you watch them fly down that track, remember the Jamaicans who proved that heart can be just as powerful as gravity. That's the end of this episode of the Rookie's Guide to Sports. If you want to discover more amazing stories and rules from the world of sports, check out the playlist in the description to binge more episodes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. See you next time.